Welcome back to my car shop. Today we're back on the 26 Oakland, moving forward on getting more work accomplished on this old piece of family history. As Duddy has said, this car is definitely a time capsule, and it is so cool to see it being brought back to life. We've got new parts, we've got a lot of work to do, but first we got to get the shop ready and get some heat going, and well, Dad's on his way, so we'll get after this project real soon. I'm Mike, and this is my car shop. Getting a vehicle like this running is only one small step in a very large process of putting a car like this back on the road. There's so much to do, but we break it down into systems and we focus on those systems. The power system is working. We don't have a clutch system working yet, but the cooling system is done. The fuel system is nearing completion. The electrical system is basically done. So a lot of things have definitely happened. As I mentioned in the intro to the intro, we have more parts from Wayne. We're still waiting on a couple things, but there's a lot we can do. We can get the exhaust system finished up. I think we're at a point now maybe where we can get the fuel system working. So have I mentioned that you tend to break things down into systems? That's kind of important. Well, we could keep talking, but I think it's important to just get rocking. So let's get after this project. So while Dad's actually doing the real work, I'm just going to stand here and talk. One thing I already did do was get the throttle fixed, so that's working again. We were able to get in the car and start it and pull the choke, and it's cool, and you got a gas pedal, so that's a step forward on that. We're going to just get the dirt off of this tank so that we can put some sealant around the few spots that are leaking, so he's getting that cleaned up. We want to get the gas tank in the car before we get the exhaust system, because the exhaust pipe does kind of go by the tank, and we want to make sure that the gas tank is in place. So we'll probably go ahead and get the fuel system functioning while we're at it, so that we have gas in the tank and it'll draw its fuel, and hopefully everything works. We've got the cleaner in there. It seems like it did a pretty decent job. One of you guys questioned why we didn't use acetone to clean the tank out. Well, there's a very good reason for that. I didn't think of it. We could have done that, but I think this vitamin B12 stuff did a pretty good job. There's still a little bit of rusty color in the bottom, but I don't see the sludge and varnish in there, so we'll get that dumped out of there and see how that goes. Okay, I guess that's it. So he's going to clean that up, and I'm going to find something else to do. Took a minute and looked at the Berryman's, looked at the what's in it, and it has a bunch of chemicals, but one thing it does have is acetone, so we did use acetone. I was smarter than I thought. We got the tank all cleaned up, washed it down with super clean. I've gone around this one with Seal All. Seal All is just a sealant. Learned about it when I was in high school. My farm shop teacher talked about it. It will actually dry. You can put it on an actual gas leak and it will still dry even though there's gasoline there. So it's got a couple spots here, and I thought I'd just go around. It's maybe not going to fix it 100%, but we'll go around it, and any potential place for leakage, we'll get it covered up with this. And we're definitely not soldering on a gas tank, so we're going to go ahead and shoot this with some paint while we're at it. hopefully that'll do it. There's two spots where I could see here and here where the solder wasn't solid, so it's probably leaked forever. But okay, so we got it painted. Now we got to wait for that to dry and wait for the seal wall to dry. So a couple hours, this should be ready to put in. In the meantime, we're going to go on to other things on the car, and what that is, we don't know yet. So we'll do that. So we talked it through, and Dad's going to go ahead and finish installing the electrical switch in the dash. So that's done because everything does work there. And I'm going to go ahead and get this exhaust welded up so that we can get it on the car. And have that part of this done as well. We did get the packing from Wayne, so all I got to do is buzz up our adapter here, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and I don't know, maybe I'll TIG weld this. I'll think about it. I don't know. One way or another, we'll get it welded up here and go from there. I was going to use the TIG, but I realized I had it all set up for sheet metal and I didn't feel like time to changing out all the tips and everything, so I just went ahead and did it with the MIG, and it turned out all right. Not the greatest, but you know what, it's good enough. It'll look nice on there. I went ahead and hit that with some ceramic paint. Don't know if it'll last, but if it doesn't, then we'll break out the Eastwood coating stuff that I have and hit it with that, but I think this will be fine. So, there we go. Looks good. Dad's having all the fun trying to figure out how to put the ignition switch back in. I'm sure he's thanking me for assigning this job.
Not sure these are the right. I guess it's the right thread.
Why don't we run a die over those nuts or over those bolts and put new nuts on them?
So in theory, this one goes. Yeah, because this has to go against the panel.
Right, yeah, and you got to figure out which side needs to be against the switch and which against the dash.
I would say this way.
Okay, because you see what's going on under there.
Because of the thickness of the gauge.
Right, and you think you can slip that in there with the nut on and everything. Okay, good.
Yeah, I have no idea. We'll find out.
I got the switch.
Okay.
Okay, he's got it in there, tightened down, and everything's good to go. So we have a working gas pedal, we're a working choke, and the ignition switch is in the spot, and everything's good. So another big step forward. The only system we don't have in some form of completed version is the ignition system itself, but we still have my temporary ignition in, and we're just waiting on plug wires and coil wires to get that done. So another step forward for mankind.
What is this?
Dash light.
Dash light?
Yep, a little light bulb in there so you can see in the car.
Okay. All right, the end of the wire feels a little loose, but I guess we'll just assume it's just the wire that's bending.
Probably. It's the one challenge with these cars is they're so small that working under the dash is not easy. I'd still rather work under this dash than under the dash of a new car, though. Okay, Yeah, I think having it overlap a little bit will be okay. So this piece is just a little bit longer, but darn thing is not being cooperative. Okay, I think that'll work. Okay, that one's in, and I just need the bolt for this side. Okay, yeah, hopefully. Bless whoever came up with exhaust donuts, because this is not a very brilliant design in my opinion. There we go. Okay, we got them both in there now. I think the back one needs to tighten first, so. Yeah, I can see it now when I'm tightening that down. As I'm tightening that it's squeezing together. What the heck? I had to hook up the throttle, huh? That's the throttle right there. Right in the way. It's so tight. It must have a little galling in that thread. We're going to see if we have vacuum signal now sucking fuel out of here. So go ahead and start it, Dad. Not a lot, but we do have a little. We're going to rev it up a little bit. Okay. Shut it off. It's only drawing a couple of inches, but I don't know if this hose is tight. I didn't check that. Go ahead and start it again. Okay, go ahead. Oh yeah. "15 inches of vacuum when I hold it tight, so we're good." Very good. Okay, you can shut it off. After lunch now, the fuel tank is all nice and dry. Hopefully it's all sealed up good with that seal all. Turned out nice. We weren't going to paint it. I was going to do more of a patina treatment on it. But it was enough paint came off of it that we decided to just go ahead and paint it up real nice. So that's looking good. Don't want it to look too nice for the car, but I'm sure by the time I get it installed, it'll be scratched up a little bit to match the patina of the car. So we dumped out the Berrymans, and it has definitely pulled a bunch of sludge out of that tank. So looks pretty good inside the tank now. We're gonna go with it. But yeah, the combination of the toluene and the acetone and the other chemical, benzodrine, and I don't know, all kinds of enes. Seemed like it did a pretty decent job cleaning that out. So we're gonna go ahead and get this tank installed, and turned out really nice. Dad has the joy of tightening up the strap bolts. Unfortunately, it's not easy to get a socket in there, and I don't have any mid-well sockets, so it's one turn at a time. Lines are all hooked up. I think we're in pretty good shape. I would say as long as that's snug, I wouldn't worry too much about it.
It does look like this is shorter than this one. Mount that's protruding above.
Yeah, it could be. I'll crawl underneath and take a look, but I think it's fine. So
Okay.
don't get too carried away. You don't want to crush the tank. So.
All right.
Okay.
I think I would like some kind of little brush, and maybe one of those toothbrushes, and clean some of this.
Okay, I'll get you one.
Over here.
Yep. I think we're ready to put gas in it for the first time in over 75 years. So that's a plus. Alright, so our next step, once Dad's finished with that, is we will actually start this and let the fuel system suck gas up to the canister, and then we're going to drain it out into a container up there just to flush everything out one more time before we hook it up to the carburetor. Okay, so we have the fuel system hooked up, there's gas in the tank, and right now what I want to do is flush the fuel system. So this is the canister right here that will draw engine vacuum through the canister to draw fuel up from the tank, and then it will gravity feed out of here down into this cup so we can see how dirty it is when it comes out. So if the fuel system's working properly, after this runs for a couple of minutes, maybe a minute, 30 seconds, I don't know, we should see fuel come out of here. So go ahead, start it up. Comes. Looks nice and clean. We'll go ahead and let it run a quarter or so through it. About that much in the bottom. quit.
I had the hose too high, it wasn't draining. Now we got a nice steady stream. Okay, you can shut it off. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. A little dirty, but not bad. Whoa, 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 whoa. Forgot. Can't do that. It's gravity feed. It's going to drain everything out of here.
There's a shut off there, huh?
Yep.
It actually works.
Well, I'm hoping. There it goes. Not 100%, but close enough. Just pick that up over there. Yeah, that's not terrible, considering it's been an empty fuel system for 75 years. All right, so we've got the fuel system working, and we just need to get this copper line off of this tank and get it connected back over to this copper line where that hose is, so that we can, we can actually have it feeding the carburetor, and we have a complete fuel system on the car. So we've kind of determined that we're going to just put a piece of rubber in here for now, because that way if we want to put a fuel filter in, this is a great place to put it. And rather than making it a solid connection, I don't happen to have a fuel filter right now, but we will get one. I think that would be a good idea to have one in there. So we'll just pull this down here, like so. Okay, we'll just get a couple of clamps and we should be good. And I just realized I just used up my vacuum line for my vacuum gauge. I thought that was fuel line. I mean, it's fuel line, but it's the one I had on my vacuum gauge. So
Oh, great.
There's no pressure on this because it's 100% gravity fed.
So it's vacuum to the reservoir, and then from the reservoir to the carburetor is gravity.
Correct. Yep. Okay, feels pretty good there, I think. Okay, should run off its own fuel system. No idea how long it'll run, but
once it uses up what's in the reservoir of carburetor,
right. mean, it was pouring gas like crazy, so I can't imagine there's any issue. When I dropped that hose down and didn't have that pet top shut, it was just gushing out of there. So. Idle's a bit low. Idle is just a little low. Mixture's closer now. Mixture's closer now. Still smoking like crazy, but I got the exhaust fan on back there to suck it out. So. We're pushing over 4 minutes now, and it's got to be running on its own fuel. So we'll get a fuel filter to put in here. That'll be nice, but I think we're good. I readjusted the mixture a little bit. We obviously have plugs and cap and rotor and all that stuff to put in, but it works, so I ain't messing with it.
This is all running off the original plug.
Yep.
Points.
Original plugs, original points, the homemade coil wire, and a different coil. So we'll put the new plugs and everything. I did sandblast the plugs a couple episodes ago when I was still trying to get started, so the plugs are good and clean, but
That's smoking a great deal.
I'll let the fan sucking it out.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I think we're good. I think our fuel system's functional. Been running about 10 minutes now, so let it sit here idle. I think it's doing great. Pumping away on its own fuel and exhaust. So, two systems, mostly accomplished today. Even a little bell train noise, which is normal. Sounds good. We're at about 15 minutes and it's still running, so I think we're good. Oh no. You got a glue trap. I'll teach you to sit out on the job.
Souvenir of installing my ignition.
Actually, I came out of the back seat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was to put the fuel tank in.
Solid gas.
This is all the trash. You put new ones in. Kind of big mouse. Systems. Fuel system, exhaust system are both pretty much done. A little bit of work to do on the tailpipe part yet, but we're gonna move it from where it was mounted on the gas tank. There's a much better place for it, and I just don't like the tailpipe being mounted to the gas tank when there's plenty of room over to the side between the tank and the spring. So we're gonna move that over, make a new bracket for that. The fuel system is done. Other than putting a fuel filter in, we decided we're going to do that. Ran 15 minutes and pretty good. So it's still smoking like crazy, but those rings haven't come around yet. I know that. It hasn't run long enough nor been worked hard enough to really see what the condition is on that. So big progress. Next thing's up. We still got to get that one rear wheel off. We got to finish the spare tire and get that mounted. We need to drain the oil out of the transmission. We need to drain the oil out of the rear end. We've got to replace all the glass in the car because none of it's safety glass. And we need to get the clutch broke loose, so we may have to take the motor back out again. We don't know. There's a lot to do yet, Getting it running is only one small part of a project like this, but it's a big part, and so we're very happy with that. Dad's already headed home. It's New Year's Eve today. I'm a little bit behind on production, so normally I'm a week or two ahead, but with the holidays I'm running behind. And so it is New Year's Eve and everybody has plans and things going on, so we're done for the day. We're on Facebook and Instagram /mycarshop. And Happy New Year, first of all. Welcome to 2022. I hope that's not 2020 also. Anyway, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm just thrilled with how the channel is growing. Thank you for spreading the word. Thank you for enjoying all these projects. And we'll be back soon with more episodes on the Oakland. And of course, we're doing 2 episodes a week right now on the Stitches Challenger. The 69 Charger is actually coming in here. It's been in here for a few days now. There'll be some stuff coming on that. And of course, we're going to be on that Duster real soon. So lots happening here at my car shop. That'll do it. And one more thing. In a very Dixieland, ragtime kind of way, rock!